Oh hey, I didn't see you there. My name is Clayton, and today we're here to talk about the Japanese people, or as I like to call them, the people of Japan. Why, hello there, anonymous stranger.
Hello?
Could you tell us what you know about the nomadic Japanese people?
I don't know anything.
You see, the people are uneducated.
The first people to settle in Japan were those of the Jomon period. The name Jomon comes from a type of pottery that was very popular during this time. Pottery was the main focus of many people's lives, whether it was used for storing objects or they were creating it. Some of the oldest pottery ever found was found during this period. At this time, people were still nomadic hunters and gatherers for the most part, until the domestication of rice, which occurred later in the period. Towards the middle of the Jomon period, the population was rapidly growing, as was the temperature, causing a mass amount of people to migrate into the mountains. About 1,000 years later, the climate started to cool off, causing more people to move to the shore. Because they were near the shore, people relied heavily on fishing. Fishing advances were thus made, such as an improved harpoon and deep-sea fishing techniques. At the end of the Jomon period, the climate cooled even more, causing people to move and dropping the population dramatically. The settling of certain regions first began here, and thus progressed into the next period. The next period after the Jomon period was the Yayoi period. Yayoi gets its name from a site in Tokyo where the first Yayoi pottery was found. Pottery was still a huge part of their culture and was only becoming more advanced. Other advancements, such as the domestication of rice, was especially popular and widely known at this point. Other advances, such as improvement in metallurgy, bronze and iron were first used during this time to make weapons, armor, tool, and bells. People began to split off into a class society where more than 100 clan nations were formed. These clan nations fought amongst one another constantly until the rise of the Yamato clan, which asserted its dominance and took over the Yayoi period. Next was the Nara period, which gets its name from the first official Japanese capital of Nara. Buddhism was developed and religion began to take place in many more people's lives. Because of the development in religion, many temples and statues were made in dedication to Buddha. Other religions were formed here but were not quite as popular as Buddhism. Much of Japan's culture was modeled of the Tang dynasty of China. Chinese literature and language were studied intensely, which led to the Chinese letters being copied and modified into the Japanese language. Originally, the Japanese law system had poor structure and was only beginning to be developed more seriously. So they decided to copy and modify the Chinese system, and also a supreme ruler was adapted into their system, also the modification of the Chinese system. A series of campaigns were started, adding the land of the Ezo and southern Kyushu to their territory,